So today we're taking a look at the Gardina Multicontrol Duo. This is a dual outlet timer from Gardina. It's a battery operated timer taking a single 9-volt battery and offers watering times once a day from each of the outlets. The Gardina Multicontrol Duo offers watering times between 1 minute and 3 hours and 59 minutes, and also has some frequency options anywhere between every day up to every 7 days. So taking a look inside the box, you'll have the Multicontrol Duo itself, as well as a couple of adapters. So first off, you'll have 2 standard hose connectors, which are in the 3/4 inch size, and they'll fit the timer directly. You may need those, however most irrigation systems tend to leave them off. And in addition to those, we've got a 1-inch female inlet at the top here. So to get that to fit most garden taps in the UK, you'll also need some reducers which are provided. So we have a 1-inch to 3/4 inch. So that's going to be the one that most people use. However, we also then have some 3/4 inch down to 1/2 inch reducers as well. So we can simply screw those on. In addition to those bits and pieces, you'll also get the operator's manual, which we always recommend you take a read through just to get familiar with your timer. As mentioned before, this timer comes with a standard 1-inch BSP inlet at the top and 3/4 inch male threads at the bottom. So to fit the battery to your Multicontrol Duo, what you want to do is just grab this front section here and just pull it off. It should slide off relatively easy, and you'll see you've got the battery compartment for your 9-volt at the back here. So simply take your 9-volt battery, pop it in the indicated way until it clicks into place. Once you're happy the battery's in place, what you can do is go ahead and program this before you reattach it, or if you want to, you can reattach it by pushing it into place and then popping in your programming. So next off, we're going to program this controller. Now we're doing this using the arrow buttons just here, as well as the OK button. So first option it's going to give us is to set the hour hand on our current time. It is actually showing 3 o'clock, which is correct. So I'm just going to press OK on that. However, if I wanted to change it, I'd just use the arrows. Once I've pressed the OK, it's now highlighting the minutes. So again, I'm just going to use the arrows to get to the correct number of minutes, let's say 15, and confirm again with the OK. Next, you'll see just on the left-hand side here, it's asking me to select the current day. It is Thursday today, and that is highlighted, so I'm just going to OK that there. Next, it moves on to the start programming. So this is what time you want valve 1 to open. We'll say 3:30 as an example. So I'm going to use the arrows to set the hour hand first, confirming with the OK, and then use the arrows again to set the minutes. So we'll just find 30. There we are. So 3:30, confirming with that OK. Lastly, it's going to ask me how long I want that to run for. So I'm going to skip the hours in this particular instance. I'm going to press OK, and then I'm just going to set that to 30 minutes. Of course, that's completely flexible. You can do whatever you'd like there. This is just an example. Confirm that with the OK. And now on the right-hand side, it's asking me how often that I would want that to run for. So 8 hours, every 12 hours, every 24 hours, etc. I'm going to have this run every day, so I'm going to navigate down to the 24 hours and confirm with the OK. We're not using a rain sensor in this particular instance, but it will ask you to select which days you want that to apply to. And then it's just going to say that the program is on, so we're just confirming with the OK. And now it's moved us on to valve B. You'll notice there's a little arrow in the top corner indicating we're doing valve 2, and when we want to program that, we just use the menu button to access it to make the changes. Now we're not going to change the current time, so we're just going to confirm that with OK, as well as the day, pressing OK, and then we're going to program when we want that to start. So again, we're using the arrows, and I'll put this at 6 o'clock as an example. Confirm using the OK, and we're not going to put any minutes this time, so again, confirm with the OK. This time we'll have it run for 1 hour and 30 minutes, so just use the arrow to confirm the 1 hour, press the OK, and then confirm the 30 minutes. This can run every day as well, so again I'm going to navigate on the right hand side down to the 24 hours and press OK. Now asking us to confirm that the program is on, so we press OK, and that is now all set up. So we have both valves coming on daily, first valve for 30 minutes, second valve for 1.5 hours. Once it's all programmed, you can go ahead, reattach it to the timer, and that's now ready to use. One thing you'll notice with the multi-control is it does have the capability to be connected to a soil moisture sensor, and you'll find those connection ports just under the battery on the control panel here. You do have to remove the little rubber grommets that are just protecting the ports, and they just simply pull out. Now, what you can do with this is, depending on where you plug in the sensor, can change which ports are actually affected. So, for instance, if you plug your rain sensor into sensor 1 socket, that will only apply to valve 1. However, if you place the sensor into sensor 2 socket, that will apply to both outlets. So why this is useful is you may have 2 systems, one may be in a greenhouse for example, and one may be outside. So you may not want the greenhouse to be affected by rain and moisture. So in that case you can pick the correct socket that applies to you, in this case sensor socket 1, and have your outdoor system connected to output 1, and that will be affected by rainfall, whereas outlet 2 is unaffected by the sensor and will just carry on a schedule. So if you're unsure about that, double check the manual because it does outline which port you should be plugging your sensor into. In that same scenario, you can also connect a sensor into both ports, and that means sensor 1 will apply to valve 1 and sensor 2 will apply to valve 2. So that's a bit of a niche scenario, but if you really wanted to, you could have a sensor for both. Like with all the timers in our range, if you're about to experience some freezing weather, usually below 3 degrees, we recommend removing this timer from the tap and storing it indoors, just to protect it from freezing, which isn't covered under warranty. Likewise, at the end of the watering season, you want to remove the batteries and take the timer indoors. If you're going to store it in a shed or an outbuilding, which can drop below freezing, we'd recommend giving it a really rigorous shakeout just to make sure there's no water inside that could potentially freeze. It's always best, if possible, to store it inside the house where it's not going to be subjected to freezing temperatures, and therefore there'll be no risk of any damage occurring. If you have any more questions regarding this timer, you can always comment on this video and our team will try to get back to you as soon as possible. You can also view it on Garden Irrigation, where our team are always happy to help.